Manchester City 2, Napoli nil. Barcelona 2, Newcastle 1 today. A couple of good Champions League games, a couple competitive games on paper, but the first one I'd like to talk about, Manchester City, was not very competitive. Manchester City dominated the ball, especially after the red card. Early on, they put the pressure on Napoli. This is not a team that you expect to hold the ball a lot, Napoli. Antonio Conte is the manager. Best defense in Italy last season, but not one of the highest scoring. So, you know what they're going to try and do coming to City today. Early on, they get pinned back. And they end up giving up a red card on a good chance from Haaland. Gets taken down by Di Lorenzo. Stone cold red. Definitely denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. Especially someone like Haaland, who is so deadly in front of goal. It probably would have ended up in a goal. And you can't take that chance. But definitely a foul. Definitely a red card. After that, City dominated everything about this game. Napoli did hold on well to keep City out in the first half. City did make a couple of chances, though. Gvardiol's corner in around the 41st minute. Phil Foden put in a really good cross around 44th minute, and Reinders shot towards the end of the first half, saved by Milinkovic-Savic, who did have a very good game, despite obviously losing 2-0. Phil Foden, someone who was my man of the match today. I thought he was outstanding today. Created a lot, really got on the ball a lot, did a lot of, worked hard, and created chances for people. And obviously that reflects in his great assist to Haaland. Little dink up right onto Haaland's head, nods it in. Great goal for Haaland's 50th. And then second half, Napoli pinned back again. Obviously Foden puts in the cross, puts in Haaland. But the Doku goal, jeez Louise, man, he absolutely tore through the defense, split right through 2, 3, 4 people, and just buries it in the bottom corner right between Milinkovic-Savic's legs. Big, tall guy. Gotta go low on him. In between the legs. Perfect. And from there on out, it was just City's game. They really just controlled. They were willing to give up a little bit of the possession. I think if the Napoli didn't give up a goal so early in the... not so early in the first half, but earlier in the first half, you would have seen the numbers way more skewed towards City. This is very similar to the Arsenal City game last year at the Etihad, where Arsenal just shut the doors in the second half and ended up giving up a goal for it, but at least they were defending a lead. And that's really all I have to say for this game. There wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. I thought Foden was phenomenal. I thought Doku was phenomenal. Donnarumma never looked shaky. Napoli had really one chance, and it was the header. I forget from who, but Donnarumma made a great save to keep it out. And that's what you expect from this guy. This guy's probably the best goalie in the world right now, if not second best, third best, at the minimum. But yeah, I would have liked to see this game without a red card, keeping De Bruyne on, someone who would have provided a lot of creativity for Napoli, someone that was getting on the ball a lot early on before the red card. But, you make stupid plays, you get stupid consequences, and City walk away with a deserved win. And this is a good win going into the game against Arsenal on the weekend. They have to travel to the Emirates. It's going to be a good game, hopefully. Hopefully it's not a 1-0 stinker. Arsenal defending the whole time, but we'll see. The other game, Barcelona-Newcastle, definitely the more active game out of the two. Newcastle looked good to start off. A lot of good pressing in the first half. Even at the beginning of the second half, they were catching Barcelona out a little bit. Barca found it hard to play out from the back. It seemed like Gerard Martin, the left back, was the trigger for the press. He was the one, as soon as he got the ball in that corner, they would just pin him down. Won it a couple of times, got good possession, created some decent chances. And as the first half went on, Newcastle kind of got a little lazier. They got a little tired. The heavy legs set in. They did create two really good chances. The Anthony Gordon chance coming very early on, I believe from a recovery. Absolutely scuffs the shot, falls on the floor. And it was a really big chance miss, especially when you look at the scoreline, when you look at how tight this game was. And then the Alanga chance to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes forces a really good save out of Garcia, but you have to be doing better on that. You have to be putting that away in the Champions League in a game like this against a team like Barcelona, because you don't get those chances easily. Um, as for Barcelona, towards the end of the first half, like I said, started creating chances. Rashford had a really good chance early on in the half. Scuffs it wide. A little disappointing, but he was very, very good today. I'll talk more on him. Second half begins. You see Barcelona a lot more in control. Newcastle is pressing a little bit, but they're able to break through it a little bit. They're also able to stop them a lot of the time in the first half a little bit too, with that line, that really well organized line where they catch people offside. Newcastle, I don't think got called offside, but they couldn't really get through. They found it frustrating. I think it was Gordon tried to play someone through. It might have been Alanga, but he just couldn't get it through because they just kept catching. They just kept inching up and catching them offside just so slightly. Rashford gets another chance early in the second half. Great block from Fabian Schär. Takes one straight to the head. He took another one straight to the head later on in the game. What a warrior. Took off, obviously taken off with a sub. Probably has a concussion or something. But that's the type of team Newcastle is. They're a physical team that put their bodies on the line. They're going to work hard, and they're going to try and grind out a win against you. But today, it didn't come to them. Rashford, first goal. Great cross from Koundé on his weaker foot. Bullet header by Rashford. Great finish. Really good for him. Someone that was turning up all day. And then the second goal. What a thunderbolt that was. He picks it up, turns, and just rockets it bar down. Garbage Trashford is no more for the time being. This guy looked sharp today. He was taking on his man. He was picking up the ball in really good spaces, being very, very dangerous. And when he came off, you saw Barca. They were already up 2-0 at that point, but they did not look as good going forward. Rafinha, someone who you expect a little bit more out of from the season that he's coming off of, Ballon d'Or contender. You expect him to have a little bit more impact in this game. Livermento did a very good job of keeping him quiet on their left-hand side. And then game goes quiet for a little bit for the next 20, 25 minutes. Barcelona just slowed the game down a lot, kept it controlled, and didn't really allow Newcastle to get anything outside the box left-footed Bruno G shot that got saved. But then the break comes to them. Jacob Murphy plays in Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon taps it in, and there's game on. 90th minute, +7. Game, everything's on the line now. Newcastle pressing, fans behind, the crowd's up, and you saw Barca take under pressure a little bit. A lot of misplaced passes, but then they calmed down a little bit after a couple of minutes, slowed down the game, started winning cheap fouls. Which is what you have to do at this level, and they just see out the game. Newcastle gutting loss. Could have easily gone their way if they had taken their chances earlier. I thought today Gordon was a little quiet, but I thought he was still decent, especially when he got put out on the left. Anthony Alanga was probably Newcastle's best player for me. He was their only attacking option, really. His speed was cutting through Martin. He couldn't handle him at all. He obviously created the majority of the chances, but Harvey Barnes on the left, very poor from him. Koundé, who I thought had a very good game, kept him quiet the entire time. Probably Barca's best defender, I would say. I don't think Araujo or Kubarsi were particularly great for them because I expect a little bit more from them. Outside of that, it was just a tough game, It's not, I thought Pedri was a little quiet. I really forgot he was in the game. I don't feel like he was doing the usual things that he does. But, this is the first week of the Champions League. It's all to play for in the next 7 games. These teams, obviously, Barca, City, are going to look at this and be like, all right, we got 2 tough fixtures out of the way. Let's just cruise. Barca obviously finished, I think, second last season in the group stage. You expect them to finish that high again in the top 8. City will look to finish in the top 8 after getting knocked out in the playoff by Real Madrid, by a Real Madrid team that is not at its best either last year. Look a little bit better this year. We'll see with that. But yeah, that's all I have for these games. I'll see you guys on the weekend with City versus Arsenal.